Blackstone Audio presents A Christmas Far From Home, an epic tale of courage and survival during the Korean War, by Stanley Weintraub. This book is read by Malcolm Hillgartner. For Phil Zimmer, whose suggestions originated this book. The second law of thermodynamics dictates that every physical system tends toward maximum disorder. Preface. Escape into fantasy. Gimme Tomorrow. A Christmas Far From Home is less a unit-by-unit history of an extraordinary and moving episode in the Korean War, from Thanksgiving Day to Christmas in 1950, than a narrative of two fantasies. General Douglas MacArthur, Supreme Commander in the Far East, gambled that he could end the war by Christmas and send the bulk of his armies home. In too public a fashion, he promised as much. His troops in the frozen, wind-swept north of Korea, in the worst winter of their lives, believed, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that home for Christmas, or at least their being shipped out of danger and voyaging home, was somehow possible. After all, MacArthur, his medal-embellished career long celebrated by the press, was the senior fighting general in the army. A more realistic wish was that of an embattled Marine in that frigid, barren waste who, when asked by life combat photographer David Douglas Duncan, "If I were God and could give you anything you wanted for Christmas, what would you ask for?" "Gimme tomorrow," he said. Those two words may be the most memorable in what has been erroneously described as the Forgotten War. They will reappear when they actually happened. Over half a century later, David Halberstam wrote in 2004, the war still remained largely outside American political and cultural consciousness. The Forgotten War was the apt title of one of the best books on it. Korea was a war that seems orphaned by history. While working on his own compelling book about the war that year, he added, "I chanced into the Key West, Florida library. On its shelves were some 88 books on Vietnam, and only 4 on Korea, which more or less sums up its fate in American memory." Perhaps the library shelves lacked Korean war books because they were out being read. Rather than forgotten, the war has evoked shelves of notable histories and personal accounts, some of the latter by survivors still able to recall their roles, however small. Even this writer produced a war memoir in distant 1964, when the events were still so sharply remembered that, respecting the privacy of the living, he disguised the identities of some who served with him.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?